but who do you say that I am? That's the kind of question that makes a lump grow in your throat, right? I can only imagine the scene, all of the disciples, Jesus laughing about everything that they'd seen as they'd been out doing this missionary journey, laughing about all the crazy ideas that they'd heard, this messianic context in which they lived and all the ideas that people had. And as they're talking, Jesus turns the table on them and asks them the kind of question that made all of the muscles in their neck tighten, as he said, "And you? Who do you say that I am?" Now, you and I have no doubt we could get this answer correct on a theology quiz, especially if it was multiple choice. We would be able to say that Jesus is the Messiah. We would be able to say that Jesus is the Son of God. From a theoretical perspective, from where we stand, this isn't that complex of a question. And yet it is the kind of question so many times in our lives that really makes us stop for a second. And we're not always sure we have the answer. I don't know. I imagine that there are a lot of widows on the island of Maui today that would pause to answer that question. I assume that there are people making decisions about pulling the trigger on a drone strike in Ukraine or in the Middle East that would pause for a second when they had to answer that question. I would assume just this weekend I was able to help a family who lost their brother very recently, and they found his body outside a homeless encampment. And for all of the efforts that they had made to help him, for all of the times that they had welcomed him back in, this is how he died. And having rejected so much of their effort and their help, and for them to answer the question, for us to struggle towards an answer together, who do you say that I am? That's not easy work. And I think Peter did okay, and for sure the rest of the apostles gave a great sigh of relief. But when I can't find the answer quite as freely as I would like to, sometimes I'd like to turn the question to Jesus and say, well, who do you say that you are, right? Because he told us so many beautiful things. He said, I am the way and the truth and the life. He says, I'm the resurrection and the life. He says, I'm the living water. I'm the bread of life. I'm salt and light for the world. He said so many incredible things. He said, I'm the gate through which the sheep can freely pass. I'm the good shepherd. He said, I am the vine and you are the branches. He said many times, or let others say and agreed when they expressed their faith, I am the Messiah, the Son of God. And he worked very hard to help his followers understand that he and his Father were one, that he shared in the life of God in heaven. And maybe most importantly for me, as I try to answer the question of who he is, I see in his sharing in the Father's life something of our God. So when I have to try to figure out whether Jesus is the judge who's going to punish this brother for all the times that lost in mental illness and or addiction, that he hurt his family, or is he a loving father who held tightly to his son and maybe held him the most tightly when he was the most alone. And a God who loves with a love better than any of the fathers we've known, and with enough power to bring good even from evil, and light even from darkness, and through the death of his son was able to bring this son home to one of the rooms in his heavenly mansion. Right? Like that question, the question of where God's love might be found in among the burnt wreckage and the cloud of dust and smoke over Maui, among the ravages of war, and not just those who are daily scared for their lives, but also those who find themselves as part of a machine that is either defending or aggressive, and so much of it in perspectives that the answer is not easily answered. Who do you say that I am? And in my life, where maybe I'm not sure if I can count on the love of a spouse or a child or a parent, in my life when I can't get a hold of a friend, who do you say that I am? And for us, sometimes to have an answer like the crowds, right? Because we're taking an 8th grade religion test. And sometimes to have an answer like Peter, or like the others who quietly cleared their throats until someone supported them with an answer. But for me, I think also to be able to go and look at the answers that Jesus gave, and to be able to contemplate in those some image of who Jesus is and who is the Father that he reveals.